When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is gone.
Hannah was diagnosed in my 5th month of pregnancy with an issue. We just knew that her arms and legs weren't moving very much. The regular doctor sent us down to Children's Hospital where they diagnosed her with arthrogryposis during my pregnancy. She, with a lot of therapy, has gained some movement in her limbs. She also has some feeding issues. She depends on a tube in her stomach to feed. There's a lot of unknown in life, and we've come to know that very well. And we may never know what her future holds.
Stand by me.
Dwayne was a premature baby, born at 2 pounds 4 ounces. Dwayne he's a tray-invented baby. He has a G-tube. He's on oxygen, he's on a ventilator. Dwayne has been in the hospital like most of his life practically. Dwayne has been home only about a month and a half since he's been born. He's a happy baby. You know, he's a well-loved baby. And I love him to death. I couldn't ask for anything better.
As you stand by me. Oh, darling, darling, stand by me.
Well, Jeremy has spinal muscular atrophy, which means that his mind is fully intact, but his muscles are very weak. So he's unable to, you know, obviously stand or use his hands. He can't talk, he can't breathe without the vent, but his mind is fully intact.
One of the things they describe Jeremy's condition is it's known as locked-in syndrome. So he can think and reason, but there's just no effective way for him to communicate.
Once Hannah came along and the needs of her, you know, issues kind of came to light. So we made the tough decision to go to a one-income family, which nowadays is really very difficult. We typically have an appointment almost every day, whether it be in the home for therapy or out of the home for therapy, or various doctor's appointments, because she does see so many different specialists. I don't think Hannah would be any other way. Hannah's illness doesn't define who she is. To us, Hannah is perfect. And I think Hannah's illness has taught us to be thankful for what we do have.
Dwayne's illness has affected my life tremendously. Me just being home, taking care of him, that's the most important thing right now. You know what I mean? He's home, I want him to stay home. So I want to do any and everything I can to keep him that way. He has good days and he has bad days. I can't even work because of his illness, and he has to be really watched at all times.
When you have a medically fragile child, the only people in the world that can take care of him are mom, dad, and specially trained nurses.
We're like many other families, except we don't go on vacations or we can't do things spontaneously. Everything has to be planned out and organized.
I work part-time and my husband works full-time, and so I figured I'd probably spend about 3 or 4 hours a day just directly taking care of Jeremy.
Fred's Footsteps has helped us in a huge way. If it weren't for Fred's Footsteps, we would not have been able to hold on to our home. There's a large gray area that a lot of people fall into that don't get any assistance from the state or from anything. And we were in that gray area. No matter what we did, we were not going to be able to get help. And thankfully, the people down at CHOP got us connected with Fred's Footsteps, and they really did save our home. I don't think we could ever even put into words how grateful we are, because it really helped us be able to transition the medical part and becoming a family with a special needs child a lot easier.
Fred's Footsteps helped a lot. We almost lost our home. He has been ill quite some time. And our focus was just on Dwayne and nothing else. We stayed at the hospital. Fred Footsteps helped us a lot with it. They saved our home. And we appreciate them for doing that. And grateful for them doing that, because without Fred Footsteps, we probably wouldn't even be here.
Well, Fred's Footsteps have helped us tremendously. Jeremy he has begun to use a communication device that he can actually access with his eyes. And then it's got a synthesized speech device embedded in it, so it speaks words out of it. But the school system, although they've worked really well and hard with us, they really don't have staff that works with the disabled population. We've asked the school system for a couple of years, would they fund the extended school year program at HMS School for Cerebral Palsy, and they have not. It's beyond our means to send him there for the summer. And Fred's Footsteps gave us a very generous grant that made it possible. And Jeremy has had an absolute blast of a time there. So he has begun to actually independently try to communicate with people, which he has not done in the 2 years that he's had this device. And that's happened in 3 weeks' time. The money that we receive from Fred's Footsteps has made that possible. I think one of the things we wanted to take place for him was not only work with staff that knows how to work with this type of population, but for him to be with kids like himself.
You work really hard. You know that you're a burden on society in one way or another. You know, you want your child's life to have quality. You want to take care of them, but you realize your finances only go so far.
I'm not sure what we would have done without Fred's Footsteps.
Because Wayne has been through a lot. He's been through a lot, and with the grace of God, he's still here.
He really needs something like this in his life.
Yeah, so thanks so much.
Yeah,
We're
wouldn't
very
have happened
thankful.
without Fred's Footsteps. So.
Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by